In the year 1653, under a storm-laden sky in Mattancherry, India, tens of thousands of men, women, and children gathered around a simple granite cross. They tied ropes to it, not in worship, but in rebellion. With one voice, they swore an oath that would shatter centuries of unity and change the course of Christianity in Asia forever. This is not a story you'll find in most church history books. This is the untold story of the St. Thomas Christians, the church that claimed an apostle, survived empires, and chose freedom over conformity. Long before Constantine, before Augustine, before the Council of Nicaea, Christianity had already taken root in the spice-rich ports of southern India. According to unbroken tradition, affirmed by early church fathers like Eusebius and Gregory of Nazianzus, the Apostle Thomas sailed here around 52 AD. He preached, performed miracles, founded 7.5 churches, and was martyred on St. Thomas Mount in Chennai. For over 1,500 years, these St. Thomas Christians thrived, not as missionaries converts, but as a self-governing, Syriac-speaking, culturally Indian church. They traded with Persia, elected their own bishops, wore mundus and nereathus, not cassocks, and worshipped in the ancient East Syriac rite, a liturgy older than the Latin Massachusetts. They weren't colonized by faith, they owned it. Then, in 1498, Vasco da Gama landed. At first, the Portuguese were awed. They called the St. Thomas Christians followers of the true faith, noble, devout, and miraculously untouched by Rome. But admiration turned to suspicion, then domination. The Vatican sent the Padroado, a royal decree claiming all Asian churches must submit to Lisbon. Jesuits like Francis Xavier admired their piety. But others? They called their Syriac rites Nestorian poison, their married priests scandalous, their use of Sanskrit and Malayalam in worship dangerous innovation. In 1599, at the Synod of Diamper, Archbishop Meneses forced over 150 Indian priests to sign, under threat, a decree that banned 350-plus Syriac manuscripts, forbade married clergy, imposed Latin theology, even on the Eucharist. The church was being erased from the inside. By 1653, outrage boiled over. A new archbishop, a Portuguese loyalist named Garcia, arrived. He jailed respected Indian priests, mocked local customs, and declared, "There is no salvation outside obedience to Rome." The people had had enough. On January 3, 1653, under the pouring monsoon rains, over 25,000 St. Thomas Christians gathered at Mattancherry. They laid hands on a rope tied to the Great Cross. Some say it groaned under the weight of their grip, and they swore, "By the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, we renounce the authority of the Pope and the Jesuits. We will never submit to foreign bishops. We will restore our ancient church by the blood of St. Thomas." In that moment, the Coonan Cross Oath, the bent cross oath, was born. It was the largest act of ecclesiastical defiance in Christian history, before the internet, before modern democracy, and it worked. Within months, they ordained their own bishop, Mar Thoma I, the first indigenous metropolitan in 400 years. The church split. Those who reconciled with Rome became the Syro-Malabar Catholic Church. Those who upheld the oath formed the Malankara Church, ancestors of today's Orthodox, Jacobite, Mar Thoma, and Syro-Malankara traditions. Today, over 7 million St. Thomas Christians remain in India, stewards of a legacy that refused to be erased. Their churches still face east, not toward Rome, but toward Jerusalem and the rising sun of resurrection. Their priests still wear sharadi and katai, Indian vestments. Their liturgies still echo with the words Thomas may have spoken in Aramaic, in Malayalam, in faith. The Coonan Cross still stands, slightly bent, just as it was that day, a symbol not of brokenness, but of unbent conviction. This story reminds us, faith isn't just about believing, it's about belonging to God, to truth, and to the courage of your ancestors. In a world that still tries to standardize worship erase culture, and centralize power, the St. Thomas Christians whisper across centuries. We are not converts. We are continuations. If the story moved you, if you believe forgotten histories deserve to be remembered, like this video, subscribe for more untold Christian stories. And in the comments, tell us, what part shocked you most? Type Martoma if you stand with those who chose faith and freedom. This is Soul Care Chronicles, where history meets holiness. Until next time, walk in truth.